Welcome, everybody, to the Hypnotic Sunday service. It is September 1st, and I hope you're all having a good weekend. Um, Today, I'm going to keep going from last week where I talked about how important it was to feel the now and be in in the now and open our bodies up if we want to really connect with those alternate realities where we have that success and abundance we want and start bringing that energy into this reality. Now, a lot of this ties into, what goals we want to achieve. And today I want to give you some tips on how to write those goals, how to put them down and look at them, make sure that you're aligned with them, and what to do if you don't feel like you are, if you end up feeling like you're having some sort of setback when it comes to achieving them. Now, this is all done subconsciously. Yeah, our subconscious drives everything. And once we impress that idea, that goal, that thing that we want to achieve into the subconscious, it's going to do everything to make that reality. And this is why, it the language that we use when we talk about ourselves is important. This is why how we feel about the things that we want to achieve is important. We need to feel good about it in order to impress it into the subconscious. There are two things that really impress an idea into the subconscious: emotion and repetition. So, the more we can feel good about something, the more we repeat that, the more it goes into the subconscious mind. We are the sum of the stories we tell ourselves. So if we're telling ourselves this story and then, okay, whatever that is, and this will happen for good or bad, yeah, it goes into the subconscious and then it becomes a program that runs and it creates that reality. It brings it into existence, right? Everything that exists starts as an idea. Yeah, and that idea then manifests in the real world, in the physical world. And that's essentially what we want to do with our goals. And knowing that there are alternate realities out there where we have already achieved it, where we've been up higher on the scale in courage, acceptance, love, and peace without the blocks that we have in this reality that have kept us from doing that. So by aligning ourselves with the energies in those other realities, okay, we're moving up the scale from wherever we are. We're letting go of the resistance to whatever's holding us back, those limiting beliefs, that tension, whatever it is. We're changing it, we're turning it into courage, and then we start choosing our goal and making it happen. So the big thing is when it comes to goals, if we're having trouble with them, is we want to write down our goals. Get a little goal journal, a notebook, and write down your goals in that. Um, you can put it in like the notes app on your phone, sure, but there is something about the physical kinetic process of actually writing something down that makes it more real, and it just seems to work better when that happens. um, I find it's best to go by the Warren Buffett rule, the 5-25 rule, and that's take 25 goals, write them down, and a list of, like, high priority to low. What's the most important? Put them in order, and then only work on those top 5 goals. Do not work on the other 20. Just leave them there. Only focus on those top 5, and that's something that helps too, because we're not wasting our energy then. Um, the other thing I like to do is, we have those goals. Once we have those 5 goals, give them a rating, from 1 to 10. And there are 3 different areas where you'll give these goals a rating. And that's like, how believable is it that you can achieve it? How much do you love it? And how excited are you to work on that goal? So in those 3 categories, give them a number between 1 and 10. And you're going to want these goals to be at 7 or above in everything. Really go for 10 as high as possible. But if it's below that, you're going to struggle. If that believability is at 1, you've got a lot of work to do to get it up there until you're feeling like it is believable. I'm not saying it can't be done. It absolutely can. Just know that if that's where you're starting from, if you don't believe you can achieve it, and that's the story that's impressed in your subconscious, that's going to be very hard to change. So you must something else that's going to support that until you can come back to it and look at it and be like, oh yeah, no, I believe I can achieve this. And like, love, how much do you love the idea of going after that goal? Again, if you're down there like 1, 2, 3, and you don't really love it, it feels like it's work, and you're just kind of you're not excited for it, then you know that's going to be very tough to achieve. How are you going to be consistent at working towards it if you don't love it? And I had that issue with doing this, actually, with making videos and just being on social media in general. And I had to do a lot of the releasing work that I talked about last week. It's in getting in touch with how it made me feel in my body. And that hypnotic meditation is linked in the description here. So you can go check that out. And if you do and you like it, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps me out. But listen to that. I listened to that for months. I did that meditation for months until I could look at what I was feeling and start peeling back the layers and letting it go. But it all came down to accepting what I was feeling and looking at the resistance I had to it and being like, yeah, okay, I feel heavy. I don't like this. Why is that? What is it? And then I had to keep peeling that onion back and being like, well, I'm angry that so many people use social media that I have to, in order to grow my business, and in order to get that message out there, I became angry. And I had to welcome that anger. I had to sit with that. And then I became resentful that I had to start doing this in order to get my message out there, to let people know that, hey, you can change things in your life. And that's when I started to let that go. That was when I started to see big changes happening, because but I had to welcome it first. I had to welcome all of this unpleasant feelings towards making videos, towards being on social media, towards doing these things that I don't like to do. Well, now I found a way to like it. And it's fun for me. I changed my relationship to what I was doing. But it came down to, like, well, what is the point of this? Is it just for my business? Is it just to make money? And no, it's not. That was what I had. Again, I had to welcome in that the love there. I love what I do. I love the fact that I have a skill set where I can help people that are struggling with anxiety to not have to go through what I spent years dealing with before I found hypnosis, before I started working on my own shit and overcoming that. That's why I do this. I would do it for free if money wasn't a thing in the world, just because it's a beautiful thing. And it's a beautiful feeling to not it's a beautiful feeling to not have that weight, that burden, that pressure on my shoulders of feeling anxious anytime I had to go outside, anytime I had to be in a crowded place. Yeah, I love the fact I'm free of that, and I can bring that to other people. And that's why I do this. So again, we're looking at what are we going to do with our goal. This is another part, but are we creating value with it in the world? Are we doing it from a place of selfishness and ego, where it's like, oh, well, I'm doing this because I want to make money? Well, no, I do want to make money because that's something that we need to do. Yeah. But that's not why I do what I do. I do what I do out of love. I do what I do because I can help people, and I want to do that. I'm bringing value. I'm making value for myself and for others and for the people around me. So when we come at things from that perspective, where it's not about ego or selfishness or what we can get, but what we can give, you know, the universe, our subconscious, it likes that more. When we're being a part of something bigger than ourselves, and we're helping people understand that about themselves too, I think. Um, but that's love. How do we get to that? I had to start releasing on it, and change my relationship to something I didn't love doing. um, and now I do this every week. so so that's that. But we have to feel good about what we're doing. If it feels like work, if it's unpleasant, and there's too much tension that comes up, there's too much resistance that comes up to it, we're going to push it away. We're going to try to find ways to avoid it, usually to the detriment of the goal that we want to achieve. So, um, and then the next area is, how excited are you for it? Do, do you not only love it, but is it what gets you up? Is it what gets you going? in the morning. And it's like, yeah, I can't wait to work on this. I can't wait to do that thing. I can't, you know, I'm enjoying it. I'm excited about it. You know, it you want to talk about it, you just can't get enough of it. That's that excitement, you know. And you want that to also be up there. If it's again, if it's feeling heavy and you're like, so one, we have a lot of work to do, a lot of releasing to get into alignment and start getting that number up there. So you really want to have those three categories of believability, of love, and excitement for your goals at 7 or higher. You know, 7 minimum, because then okay, it's something that we do truly want. But this is why we make that list of goals and we look at that, and we only focus on the 5 that we put in order. They're the most important to us. And you know, these goals can be in different areas. Let's just say like the 4 main categories that we'll put those in are usually having to do with relationships or with money, health, or just personal growth and development, enrichment. Like this is something I'm doing for me, something I'm doing to be healthy, something I'm doing to make money, something I'm doing to have better relationships. Those are the 4 kind of main areas of where our goals are going to be. And it's good to have like in that top 5 list something in each area. You know, you can put it all into one area if you want, but balance is always good. And oh, so that's a few things of where you're going to see blocks. Now, when it comes to writing down our goals, like I said, we should have a goal journal where we write these down in. And this is going to become more important later as we go through it, but you're going to want to write it down using terms that are in that higher area of the, you know, on the scale of emotions and courage and above. So like instead of like, oh, having it off in the distance in the future, you're going to want to write it as if it's already happening now. You know, I am making X amount of money a week. I am whatever that goal is. And I am, that's a saying that's up in peace. And then you can write I love something again in that's in the category and the emotion of love. On the scale, I allow success to come to me. We want to get more specific than that, but that's acceptance, or I choose. Choosing is in courage. So those are ways to start to write the goals out, and making sure that we're writing them in the emotional categories that are higher up the scale. I am, I love, I allow, I choose, that sort of thing. Now, if we write it out and we write I am on something, and we might look at it and it might not feel good. It might feel heavy. Like I know I'm not. That's that's too much. We're noticing that resistance. Okay, we're not up there yet. That's fine. If we put it in, you know, change the wording. What about I allow myself to, or I choose this, and then look at it. How does that feel? Does it feel lighter then? Whatever we can do to feel better about it is what we want to do. So if it feels too heavy in one, go to something lighter, because we really want to feel good in our bodies about the goals. And this is why the alignment meditation from before, again, link in the description, is so important, because it gets us in touch with the now feeling, with what we are experiencing in our bodies in the now, opening things up, opening our heart up to welcome in what we're feeling. And if we've been shut off for a long time, if we've been down in apathy, grief, and fear, and we're closed off, then we need to do some work to open that up and really allow ourselves to start feeling again, and start welcoming in those higher emotions, and start connecting with the other versions of ourselves that are on that level, and get in energetic alignment, because that's when we can really start creating. So once we've written our goals down, every day, have a morning process for this. I like to do it first thing in the morning. I suggest that's when. So it's, right when you're getting up, but take some time, and you've written it down every morning, open it up, look at it, and meditate on it, and just start doing that releasing, welcoming what you're feeling when you read that goal, when you meditate on it, when you look at it. How does it make you feel? Are you feeling good about it? Are you feeling excited for it? Do you love it? Do you believe it? Are you seeing it happen? Even if it's small, even 1%. But once we do that, and we're looking at that, we can continue to assess where we are with everything, where we are emotionally. What sort of work do we have to do? What do we have to release on in order to do that? Is there resistance coming up? Okay, like, oh, I'm reading this. I'm feeling heavy about it today. Then we start doing some work. Start welcoming what we're feeling in our body, and look at that. Welcome it. Look at it. If it's making you angry, well, why is that? Welcome in the anger that you're feeling. Accept that, and welcome in the courage that it takes to look at the anger, and then welcome in any sense of courage more to look behind the anger, to look at the fear that's there. Maybe there's an attachment. What is that? What is that resistance that's coming up? But being honest with ourselves, and really doing that. So meditating on our goals, looking at those every day, revisiting them, and it doesn't have to be a lot. You can do it once a month, once a quarter, even, depending on how you're doing it, and revise those goals. Maybe at first you have to do it once a week until you're really feeling good about something, and then you've got it set, and that's okay. But looking back at that, being sure what we're feeling when it comes to it, that is very important. Um, and you might want to do some meditation or some self hypnosis before you start doing the work on your goals, just to kind of calm your mind, to just quiet yourself, and settle in. So that is something you can do. And once you do that, two things are going to happen. One of two things are going to happen. And either you're going to feel good about it, and if so, just enjoy that. Welcome in feeling good about your goals. let it just sit with that and enjoy it. Or you're going to start feeling heavy about it. And even just looking at the goal written down is going to cause resistance. And that's when you just have to keep releasing on it until it starts to feel lighter. And you'll get those insights on what to do that. So if you focus on that first, of feeling good about your goals, it's going to make getting all the other goals a lot easier once you start feeling good about it, once you're able to start welcoming in the now feeling that you're experiencing. Um, so let's see what else. Um, but yeah, we have to really get the goal impressed in the subconscious mind. And when we hit a roadblock, yeah, something happens, life happens, right? It gets in the way. So if we're feeling really good about something, it's not going to trip us up as much. But if we aren't feeling good about it and then something goes wrong, or it's, oh, well, this isn't going as fast as I wanted, well, you've got some attachment there, and that's something that we need to look at, to release on, and start letting go. Um, but we need to also kind of look at what our beliefs are around that goal. This comes down to believability again. If we if we're not feeling worthy of that goal, it's or if we don't feel deserving of it, then again it's we're going to have a hard time impressing it into the subconscious and getting in alignment with things. So this is why feeling good about the goal is so important, because we need to believe that we can do that. When we get it, we're going to do good with it. You know, um, it goes. Have to want it, then we have to choose it in order to have it, and we can't want and have at the same time. So maybe you've got to get through those beliefs that say you're not worthy of it first. You have to cut through all of that, because even if you don't believe it in this reality, like, there's a parallel world where you do believe it, where that you is up in courage and has achieved it, or is doing it, is being it. Yeah, and you can connect to that energy and get on that same level and start creating it in this one. So, but it all depends on how we're able to kind of get through those limiting beliefs, the change the story that we've been telling ourselves, and start impressing that into the subconscious mind. And again, this is why hypnosis is, I think, so effective, because that openness to suggestibility and that ability to talk directly to the subconscious, to remove the limiting beliefs that we have and start replacing them with, you know, positive things, with the changes that we want to see, is is so effective. But then we have to go out into the world and we have to start living that. And we have to help reinforce that idea into the subconscious. Again, repetition and emotion. When we're feeling good about something and we do it a lot, boom, it gets into the subconscious. Or if any strong emotion. So if we're feeling really heavy about something, really negatively towards something, and we keep trying that same goal over and over again, then the story we're saying, well, I can't. There's that subconscious desire to reject this thing because it's causing us so much discomfort. And so we really have to get past that and work on that. And a lot of that comes down to our self talk, to how we feel about ourselves, and to what we are experiencing in our bodies. And think about this in the terms of like New Year's resolutions, right? People will be so excited January 1st. Oh yeah, I'm going to do all of this. I'm going to go to the gym every day at 7:30 and blah blah blah. All of that, and how long do they keep that up? Right? Like a few days, a couple weeks. Normally it's by February 17th. Most everybody is pretty much dropped their New Year's resolutions by then. And they're just not feeling good about it. And that's something. How are we feeling about it over time? Does it feel like work? Does it become something that we want to avoid? Because if that's how we feel about it, we're going to find ways to do that subconsciously. So that's where to really look at that, notice that, and that's why I say meditate on the goals every day. Some people will want to do affirmations, and affirmations can be incredibly powerful. That can really, really help. They can also really backfire if you don't believe it, if you're not feeling good about it. Because again, if you're telling yourself an affirmation that you don't believe, then you're doing the repetition part, which puts that into the subconscious, but you're also putting the emotion to it, which is the weight, the heaviness that comes up, the fact that you don't believe it, that you don't feel good about it, is attached to that. And that's what gets implanted into your subconscious. So that's how emotions can backfire if we aren't doing the work to feel good about the thing that we're doing in the first place. If we are, it's an incredible way to, give your subconscious this command. But if we don't feel good about it, if we don't believe it, then it backfires on us. So you don't want to lodge it in there like that. You don't want to push down any sort of negative feelings. You want to welcome it, and you want to then let it go. If you don't welcome it, you can't let it go. But if you start pushing it down, trying to suppress it, and then you say the affirmation louder and louder, you know, what what do you think is going to happen then? Right? You're trying to force it. And how long can you get away with trying to force that into your subconscious before the whole thing falls apart? So when we do that, we'll feel like shit. That's when we burn out on things, when we're forcing it. So we want to get past that. And that doesn't mean that in the process of doing all this that we won't end up feeling like shit at one point or another, especially if we have a really big goal and we have a lot of pain, a lot of limiting beliefs that are buried underneath of that, because that's the stuff that we have to work at, the stories surrounding that to let go of, until we can do it. And like I said, I had a lot of stories around social media before I started doing this, and you know I'm still right about them, but I had to. It wasn't even about that; it was about me, and I had to work on my own shit and release on that and understand what I was feeling and accept that I was feeling that in order to let go of it and take ownership for it. What wasn't about, at the end of the day, that social media is cancer on society, which it absolutely is. But my resistance to it was more about what was going on with me and how I was feeling about myself in relation to doing it than how this is a weapon that's used against us. Uh, I still absolutely believe that, but again, that was an excuse that I was using to avoid having to look at myself and the things that were under the surface with that. But once I started doing that, okay, boom, everything got easier, because then it was now I'm free of that. Now I feel a lot lighter. And then when we start being consistent and we change our relationship to things and we start enjoying it, and when we start enjoying it, we've chosen it at that point, and then we get to start being it. And that doesn't mean that, if we have big goals, it's a long road to walk, right? But we have to be excited about walking that path, and because that's what it's all about, is the journey. Not there is no skipping ahead in things. There isn't no cheat code to jump to the last stage. And if there was, you wouldn't want it. It's the journey that makes everything so fucking sweet. So, um, that is all for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Um, Again, in the description is a link to the I want to say body scan, but that's not really it. The connecting to alternate reality meditation. So energetic alignment is what uh, the wording is very awkward on it. I haven't quite figured that out yet, but that's what it's doing, is getting into energetic alignment. So uh, thanks for watching, everybody. And remember, there are no such thing as problems. There are only situations. So, till next time, be seeing you.